What's going on? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the podcast, Stay Frothy, the podcast that you'll hate that you love. My buddy Craig is here to my left, and we've got a new guest on the podcast today. If you want to scoot over. His name is Kevin. Kevin, say hi.
Hi.
Kevin is also a DC resident with us. I think Craig and Kevin work at the same company, and so we figured that this would be a good collaboration to combine efforts here and talk about whatever the hell it is that we like to talk about, which is pop culture, sports, big sports-heavy guys. And yeah, just wing the fuck out of this podcast. So we hope you enjoy everything that we're about to push out, all the content, all the laughs, all the beer drinking. Kevin, do you want to introduce, a little bit about yourself and your background, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So, name's Kevin. I think that I was brought on this podcast. I don't know if Craig wants to provide that introduction after he gets another beer, but it all kind of started as a bit where we were just sitting in the office one day when the Caps were going on their amazing run. Go Caps! Go Caps! Craig Caps just kept on being, let's bring this to our resident hockey guy, Kevin Heyer here. And that's kind of how this conversation happened. I've been brought on the team, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. We love the new additions. Anything that we can do to help build this company and build this brand. Me personally, I'm gonna appreciate the hell out of it. So,
well, everything that I touch usually burns to the ground. So I think that you've done a really good job bringing me on board.
We'll definitely be.
That's really reassuring.
We'll only need one podcast to sever ties with Kevin after he completely burns the brand to the ground. But for that, we'll at least give him the opportunity. I think it was actually a pretty good transition. You brought in, the fact that he's just kind of
a resident hockey guy.
He's a resident hockey guy at work. Obviously we just went through a really awesome time here. So, I think we should just kind of start out with just, a little bit of a recap with the run that was made. And then from there, pass it over to our resident hockey guy to kind of let us know what we should expect from, what seemed to be an already crazy offseason in the NHL. And then moving forward into the next season, what us as Capitals fans should worry about, and or anybody else in those metropolitan areas that support their teams, what they should be looking for the next NHL season.
So if you can't tell already, me and Craig, Caps guys with our red, but also Kevin's not rocking any red, but he is a big time Caps guy. Yeah. So
if you see me in the vlog, I think there's a pretty good video of me
chugging beers and pouring them on you.
Just pouring them on my head. I don't know. At that point, I was blacked out. But there's some good videos there for sure where I embarrass myself. But I could care less about any of that. But yeah, so I can get into a little bit about the off season. It's been pretty crazy, and then we can transition to some of the other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Caps here was an incredible run, and I think that's what happens. That's what we were trying to do the entire time. Was we don't want to be first.
Yeah.
You want to be second or third.
I think that was the major, the key
That's the only
piece
reason.
of just, taking that into the season. I mean, we came into the playoffs and we were like, hell yeah, we're not favored. This is big for us. Because every year that we do go in favored, it is not. It's never in our favor.
Well, so I think the big question every year is, yes, okay, so we don't come in, we don't win the President's Cup. Obviously, that fell to the burden of another team out there. I believe it was the Predators.
Yeah, Predators. Yep.
But, beyond that, what in this team was different from these teams in years past? I mean, we've had superstar-studded teams for a while. What was different this year?
I think it was the resilience. So if you look at it, I mean, each round we were down. We were down in each round and actually came back and won, not just in individual games, but in the series as a whole.
Right.
So at one point we were down in all the series. Even the Stanley Cup, we lost the first game, which you remember well about. There was some drama going on there.
Kevin was burning the house to the ground.
I was burning the house to the ground after that. But no, so after we went down 0-2 against Columbus at home, everyone's kind of shaking their heads like, shit, again, is this happening? And no, I mean, Ovi kind of stepped up. He went full mode Russian and just said, we are going to come back. He took command, and they won 4 straight. Carried into second round. The OT winner by Kuznetsov was just something that we haven't really had. Fighting through the Wilson suspension, fighting through the Backstrom broken hand, all really cool things happening there. And then kind of the third and final, or the Eastern Conference Finals, going to Game 7, ended up winning in Tampa against a very good Lightning team. I mean, that's just something special. And then the momentum, I think, carried into Vegas where, Vegas does have, they had, 4 second or third lines, but they didn't have a top line. Their top line did not match up against our top line in terms of
They're all
firepower.
two-liners, right?
They're all two-liners.
Yeah.
So I think that was just, part of the reason why. But I think it was just resilience, man. Just never giving up. Even in the Game 5 of Stanley Cup, you're down 2-3 going into the third period, end up winning 4-3 on some dirty goals. You got to be happy about it. So overall, it was a good run, and I got to celebrate with you guys a good bit. I think, Brad, I got some pretty amazing I got a good Insta
vlog footage or snap footage?
No,
both. Definitely both.
Insta footage.
Insta content.
Insta content. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That was it. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I know the NBA's been going on, but NHL offseason's been going pretty strong as well. We've
been securing all the bricks that helped get the Stanley Cup in the first place.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I mean, what's crazy? Like the craziest move, and like I haven't heard about this happening in any sport. It's crazy, at least that I can remember. So we traded Brooks Orpik and Philip Grubauer to make room for Carly and some of the other guys. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like there's going to be a pretty good chance that we get Brooks Orpik back on the team.
Yeah, so he was bought out.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he was bought out by the Avalanche.
No, I know that he was bought out,
for the most
but
part immediately. We've been talking to Brooks about bringing him back. I mean, the simple fact of the matter was, I think Brooks kind of understood that, and you do see it in the NBA a little bit, that you have to restructure your contract, or you have to take a pay cut. Take Dwight Howard, for example. He's getting paid too much to play in Charlotte. He gets traded to Brooklyn. Brooklyn buys him out immediately. Now he's on the Washington Wizards. So,
but with the same team.
I know. So with the same team, I think that this was also that piece. Him being traded to the Avalanche, that wasn't the trade. They were getting Philip Grubauer on the idea that they were going to take on this contract and buy it out. And then Brooks, for whatever the hell he wants to do, can come back and resign the team.
Joe Sakic, the GM for the Colorado Avalanche legend, was he said straight up after they signed him, he goes, he will not be playing. He's either going to be traded or he's bought out. He will not suit up one game in a Colorado Avalanche jersey. He won't. So, George McClellan or Brian McClellan, I can't even think of our GM's name right now. George McPhee. So he, Brian McClellan, I'm blacked out right now. But the point that I'm trying to get is he said, hey, look, if we can get Brooks Orpik back on the same deal, and I guess if he wants to come back, it's kind of a fuck you to the face. But you still have the opportunity to come back, it sounds like. It's going to depend on what happens on the Wilson contract. It's going to, I think, happen in the next week or so. We'll see the Wilson contract come out. I think we have around $8.5 million left in cap space for next year. I think Willie's going to be pretty close to the $5 or $6 mil range.
Yeah, and then get a multiple year deal.
Yeah, and he's going to get a multiple year deal, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. The real thing, and then we'll get over to the next thing, the next kind of topic, is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the big deal. I think everyone who's got some type of pulse in the NHL got John Tavares. Look, it's going to be a super offensive team. They're going to be fucking crazy. It's going to be wild. It's the New York Yankees of the NHL, if you think of Toronto. They're legends there. That's pretty much all they care about. The preseason games all fucking sell out, and they're $150 tickets. But the point being there is they're really offensive heavy. They got 3 young studs, William Nylander, Austin Matthews. They got
Mitch Marner in there.
Mitch Marner. But the point being, those guys are all on kind of entry-level contracts. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with John Tavares, this massive deal. They also don't have really a goalie. They've been trying to find one, and then their D is not too strong either. But down the center, you have Tavares, you have Austin Matthews, and you have Kadri. That's a pretty good lineup, pretty close to the Capitals. So it'll be interesting what happens in the Atlantic Division.
Well, I think, this is also the same, Toronto Maple Leafs teams that took us 7 games 2 years ago in the first round.
Yeah.
Without a guy like John Tavares, who year before that took us 7 games in the first round. So it's kind of meshing the best of both worlds there. I think they're a very scary team. I think you're correct also to say that they're weak at defense because they just get beat in these barn burner games. I haven't ever remembered them having. I can't name a guy that plays defense on their team, let alone their goalie. So
yeah,
I thought the move was interesting, especially with the plays that the Islanders have made to kind of I don't know, like it was like a LeBron-esque recruiting type
Oh, it
tactic
was,
of bringing
no.
in like all these names and training for all these people. And
No, they had like the Canadian Tire like GM was in there being like, you need to come back to Toronto. You had Austin Matthews, players from the team were texting him. You had all that stuff was going on. So LeBron-esque is probably a good term for it.
yeah, and I think just kind of go, from I guess one league to another. The NBA
Yeah.
free agency. We're bringing up LeBron.
I was actually gonna say, we're getting into a deep pit of hockey talk here.
Sorry,
and
boys.
if
That's
the
fine.
viewers,
That's why you're
aren't,
here.
that's
Yeah,
why we're
that's-
here. I mean, now you are enlightened on all that is hockey in that span of, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. So
Yeah, well,
now
I
you're
mean,
informed.
I think both. I think the hockey free agency. I think is a little bit more cut and dry. I think it's more straight up. Guys aren't. You can't necessarily like ring chase in the NHL per se. I mean, like it would be pretty sick to see John Tavares get like a taxpayer's minimum contract to come play for the Capitals.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be pretty dope. But that's something that they don't really do in that league, and I think that they value themselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because of that. And flipping and looking at the NBA, first off, we'll discuss the elephant in the room with LeBron James signing to the Lakers.
And then Boogie Cousins
That's
the
honestly
worst
that's a side note.
just
I mean,
coming
LeBron James
from the rafters.
So no, LeBron James essentially made a move that the more I think about it, the less and less worried I am about it, because I don't think it makes any sense. Before we got into a lot of free agency, a lot of people would ask me about what I think LeBron James is going to do. And I figured he was just going to resign at Cleveland, make $200 million over the next 5 years plus, and kind of try to retool and figure out what pieces he needs and what pieces he doesn't have, and where they're good and where there's room for improvement. He went to LA. LA to me doesn't make sense.
He went from a subpar team to a abysmally
You
average
say
team.
subpar team. He went from a team that went to the finals.
But he carried that entire team.
Sure, but he went to a team that went to the finals
And then
and
moved to another
he
team
lost,
that
and he went to a team that then missed the playoffs by who knows how much.
they were last in their
Yeah, they might have been
in their conference.
So it doesn't really make sense for the basketball story of LeBron. However, I do think for him as a person, it makes sense because he has all the media shit out there, and he's trying to build his brand and do all these other different things.
So there's some pretty cool lines involved, and then kind of not just the free agency side of it, but that locker room is going to be fucking crazy. You have the Ball family just involved in that organization. You have that personality coming in from LeBron James, and it's LeBron's way or the highway when he comes onto a team. You've seen it happen in the past.
He's pretty much like the GM, the coach, and player.
No, what's the stat? This stat is fucking crazy. The stat that has the head coach of the Lakers and LeBron were drafted in the same. They both were drafted in 2003.
Oh, yeah.
And then this guy is supposed to be coaching. I don't know his name.
Luke Walton.
Yeah,
Luke
Luke Walton.
Walton.
He's supposed to be coaching LeBron James. Get the hell out of here. He's not going to be doing
We're in
anything.
the same draft class.
He's not going to be doing anything.
Well,
man.
but-
So that alone shows something or says something to me.
There's that, but I think you also couple it with, yes, he's being coached by a guy that he's nearly the same age of, who he was better than. But then, I like how you brought in the Ball family and all the other side shenanigans and whatnot. But I think Magic has made it evidently clear that he's not going to have to wear every hat for the organization. I mean, from a GM perspective,
Talking about LeBron won't have to wear
right.
it.
LeBron will have to wear every hat because from a GM perspective, first off, Magic has just coerced LeBron James to come play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So he knows he can get other players to come play for the Lakers because, God forbid, he convinced him.
Who are some of the other people that might go? Or like
They're
that you
talking
think?
Kawhi, possibly,
So
but
they're
the Spurs
talking-
are still holding on.
We're
to
talking
Jazz.
Kawhi, but Kawhi's not going to go there. I didn't think LeBron's going to go there. Maybe I was like 70-30 on that. I'm like 99-1 on Kawhi Leonard will not be on the Lakers until 2019 when he's a free agent. But they're not going to trade him. Greg Popovich is not that kind of guy.
Yeah, but he's just going to sit out like he did.
Sure. He sat out last year and they
All right,
made
so
the fucking playoffs.
Get Kawhi out of there. Then who are some of the other guys that can put in piece to try and go against?
So
the
I don't
Lakers?
think it's a win next year plan. I think it is a LeBron cleansing himself, going somewhere new, and being like, "Hey, Magic, I trust you. You've also been to the finals 8 or 9 times. I know that you know what it takes to get there. Put the team together for me. You have 4 years." and you have 4 years in really the twilight of my career. So I don't think it's a win next year thing because it's not going to be a win next year thing. There is no one that I think they can get that's going to put them over the top as an elite team in the NBA. Besides maybe Kawhi Leonard, but if they do trade for Kawhi Leonard, everybody else is going. It's a fire sale. So I think that they're going to wait on that. And besides that, I mean, it's the Warriors championship to win next year. I think the draft was pretty interesting. Seeing some of these new players come out, but they're not really going to make an impact right off the bat. It's so top heavy in the NBA, and I think definitely at this point,
it's lopsided, man. It's like the East Coast. You're already anticipating that Boston's going to win
DeMarcus Cousins coming back to the Warriors with maybe like 25 to 30 games left in the season is nightmarish shit for anybody that's in the NBA.
Yeah, because he's fresh legs, healthy.
So if you take out Steph Curry and put in James Harden on this team, it's literally the starting lineup for Team USA. Like the basketball team that wins the gold medals by 25 points plus against the world.
I saw another
against the league.
I saw another stat. It's a little bit disgusting, honestly. I saw another stat line, sabermetric stat.
Sabermetric stat of the night.
Sabermetric stat of the night. So there's 13. It's a ridiculous stat. 13 appearances by the Warriors in like NBA All-Star games back to like 2009 in terms of number of appearances. The entire Eastern Conference only has 11.
Yeah.
Out of all the starting players, only has 11. So that says something that they're just stacked. Like no one's gonna be able to beat them.
They're stacked.
But it would be great if if we have some type of scenario where someone does come out.
The great white hope in the East is obviously the Boston Celtics. They're also in my eyes, they're loaded like on that premature level. So where we were looking at the Warriors and they won that 2016 championship, think about like 2014 when they still had Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, but they weren't matured yet to the point where they are now. I think with the guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Scary Terry, you have a healthy Kyrie Irving, you have a healthy Gordon Hayward, you have a healthy Al Horford.
Is he still healthy, man? I saw like videos of Gordon Hayward on social media just kind of getting back to running and walking. I don't think he's going to be playing, right?
He's been doing basketball activities. They're estimating he's going to be back.
Okay, good for him. That was unfortunate.
They were teasing it last year, though. I mean, they were posting videos of him shooting jump shots and whatnot, like making layups. But obviously they were like, "There's no way he's going to play or come back for the rest of the season."
Well, I think overall
I think he should be good.
That injury made last season boring because when we went into the season last year, it was like, okay, like the Celtics have all these young cats, and they have Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and Kyrie Irving. They have a legitimate all-star big three. Gordon Hayward, for layman's terms, snapped his leg in half on national television.
It was pretty
immediately.
Pretty grody to watch.
Like the night opening game.
You could hear it too.
Immediately in the night opening game on national television, snaps his leg in half.
Which one was worse, Louisville basketball or Gordon Hayward?
Everyone remembers that one, right?
Louisville basketball. I mean,
it just comes straight out of his shin.
That was brutal.
That guy works a sales job just like the rest of us at this point.
R.I.P. That guy was crushed. I was watching that live. Yeah, that was that was brutal.
That was one of the scariest sports accidents I think we've ever seen.
But I think it's tough. I mean, I think the NBA is in a really weird pickle because it's a similar pickle that it was in when Michael Jordan was monopolizing championships in the NBA. I mean, this is not something that's new. I think a lot of NBA fans are looking at this and being like, "Oh, the Warriors, I hate them because they're winning all the time and they're so good." But
they're the Monstars.
Yeah, I mean, but the Bulls did this shit
monopolized
championships.
But there's a difference because it wasn't like a crafted team. It was like 3 of those all-stars that are currently on there were drafted.
But I mean, still,
and then another one came along after a 73-win season.
Fans are still asking themselves, why is this fun to watch? Is this actually competitive? This Michael Jordan guy is unstoppable.
I hate watching the NBA. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's garbage.
I think they have to league. There's too many teams for the number of talent in the league. Yeah. Meaning that there's like tier 1 unbelievable talent, and then you have guys that are like tier 1 lower talent, and then you have everyone else. And it's almost unfortunate for some of these cities like Sacramento, Charlotte, which is also, I mean, that's a great basketball. North Carolina is a great basketball state for sure. I know there's a lot of North Carolina listeners. And then there's also, like those teams can't even compete. Like sometimes those games are like 120 to like 90 or 80. So it's kind of just a nonsense league. They should have, maybe another type of division where they have, people coming in and out of the top tier team, the top tier league, just to kind of keep those games interesting. I don't know. That's just kind of a thought that I've had.
Well, and like the really freaky thing about it is that it's not even like a market thing anymore. Like it used to be, all the big market teams are really good, and then you have the small market teams that struggle. But you have Oklahoma City who goes to the playoffs every single year, but the Knicks can't put 11 to 15 dudes together that can win more than 30 games in a season. That's crazy.
No, I know. I mean, I agree.
The Lakers were garbage last year.
I agree, but I'm just saying that, and I'm not saying it's geographic. I'm just talking about it would be better if you had competitive games. No one wants to no one wants to spend money to go watch a game where it's a 30 or 40 point differential game. I don't.
Well,
do you want to go see it, Brett?
Absolutely not. I think shorter seasons and less teams.
Well, it's this AAU mindset that all these guys have from when they were younger. It's like, all right, like I live in this part of the state, but there's this one really good AAU team. So like all the other really good kids from all over the state all play together and they win the state championship. And so all of these guys now are like, well, I'm so rich and I don't need really the money, and I'm not loyal to the city that I was drafted in, and I actually just want to play with my friends.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that.
Which is what the NBA has turned into now.
Right. Guys just play with their friends.
Yeah.
Like if you want to get a
ridiculous
championship right now, there's things that you do. You look at the Rockets, you look at the Warriors, you look at maybe the Timberwolves, but Jimmy Butler apparently hates being up there now. You look at, where the Cleveland Cavaliers, now you just find LeBron. Like those are the places you go if you want to win a championship. If you just want to get paid and just be in the NBA and have fun, then you go and play for everybody else.
Yeah. Guys, I have a quick question. From someone who is, I'm an average NBA fan.
Yeah, same.
Explain to me the mindset of what the hell the Atlanta Hawks were doing in the draft. Can someone please explain to me this trade? Because I honestly don't understand.
I can explain a little bit of the mindset.
Enlighten me because I have no idea.
Today when I was drooling away at work at my desk, I was
drooling or drooling?
Drooling.
Oh, all right.
And drooling. So I did a little
mango flavor.
I did a little light reading, and essentially Trae Young had a really awesome workout with the Hawks. They had kind of made up in their mind that they were going to go after him.
Oh my gosh.
He's apparently put on a lot of weight. He's apparently been working out a lot. The kid's a hard worker. I think where there's some confusion is that the Luka Doncic is better, and he's taller and he's stronger, and he's also MVP of the EuroLeague, which is the second best league in the world.
He's been playing against men.
He's been playing against men. He's also 19 years old.
Also, Trae Young wore a suit, shorts to the draft. Only player to do so.
That was really awkward.
Yeah, I
automatically
didn't like him.
Rookie fucking move.
Yeah, I not
easily.
The thing about it is that you always try to stash in future assets, and so it looks like from a gain-loss perspective, sure, they may have lost out on the opportunity to get Doncic, but they did get Trae Young, who could be a good player, theoretically. I mean, the kid has no conscience when it comes to shooting the basketball, but they get him, and then they also get a protected first-round pick next year, which, quite honestly, being the lottery, looking at the Mavericks, they are trash, and the West Coast is loaded.
Yeah.
So that's a top 14 pick next year as well. And there's going to be a pretty decent class coming out next year. I know my Duke boys got the number 3 recruits from high school coming out next year.
Yeah,
so
no one gives a shit, dude. You're still going to cop that L. 6-5. Side note, though. Yeah. You knew that was coming, though, right?
We're going to get in. We can't get into this.
Right, we won't get into it. College basketball is not close yet, so we won't get into
that.
But
I do think we could pivot and talk about Drake's new album. It was Drake Day, Drake Week.
Yeah, we got about like 6 more minutes left in the podcast, so I'm cool just, going in head first to this. giving our takes on it. I think it's incredible. Obviously, big music guy over here. I mean, his album went platinum the day it dropped.
Yeah.
I think I saw
if you realize
every
that.
single girl that I follow on Instagram, and there's a lot. Every single
Have a
one
Drake lyric posted on their
had a Drake
timeline.
song posted. And, can you get me one? What? What?
Can you grab me a beer too when you come back?
Yeah.
Be sure to wash your hands too.
Guy changes
Thanks.
the subject and then just runs
Yeah,
away.
yeah. Thanks for changing the subject and leaving us here
Anyways.
to talk about it.
But no, yeah, every single girl that I knew posted on that video.
Yeah.
Or posted a screenshot.
They posted a lyric or what do you, oh, you mean like on their stories?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Spotify, Scorpion.
They're trying to be hit, man. You got to stay up with the
millennials.
climate, the social climate. Yep, the millennials. The millennial Y. Good plug there.
It's all about the plug.
It sounds like a really dope website. If you ever fucking, are intrigued, it's the Millennial Y. Millennial-Y.com. Plug, always plug, always plug. But yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about Drake is that he provides content not only sonically, but content that you could transfer over. You didn't grab me one either. Oh, that you can transfer over into your own life, which is an Instagram
He's
caption.
also
I think it's also like a holiday when he comes out with some new music.
Drake Day.
It's Drake Day.
It is Drake
Yo,
Day.
he's also a big Maple Leafs fan, Toronto guy.
Yeah.
So you know that actually this is a big question. Austin Matthews jersey or John Tavares jersey?
He's gonna be all on that Tavares train.
I don't know, dude.
You gotta go Austin Matthews. They
Austin
drafted
Matthews,
him.
he's the future.
It's the future.
I don't know. We'll see. Big questions.
Yeah.
Back onto hockey. Got you. You thought we were gonna go into pop culture. Psych. Got your bitch ass. Anyways,
All right, so
just
here
kidding.
we
We're back on the Drake.
You know what question I actually have? Actually, this is just gonna pivot completely away from Drake. But
All right.
ESPN The Body Issue. We were watching a little bit on this earlier. I want your guys' take of it. Would you feel comfortable doing ESPN The Body Issue? And if so, kind of what pose do you go with?
This was a
I'm going in like 2 hands covering the balls and shaft. Just sup.
Really?
Yeah. Back when I was in college, though, this was looking a little bit better, but that would be the pose there. I mean, you see some fucking ratchet ones where the dudes are just like hurtling, and there's obviously like a ball or something covering their junk, but it's like way too much for the males to.
I think what I'm doing
dive
is
into. For my taste, personally.
I'm going back to camera. Obviously, I'm naked. Headset on, making a cold call.
Nice. Well, that
Sales
is,
guy.
That is your profession.
Yeah, that's my profession.
That's your
It's
profession.
ESPN The Body Issue. Like Craig, cold caller, just turning around, looking at the camera, maybe even like blowing a kiss. Like,
Yeah. No.
Deal
I
closed.
think.
What if ESPN had a segment? I guess it could be classified as sports, but like a cold calling just pit.
No. I've
And
actually.
it's it's literally just like people picking up phones, calling, and anytime you get a meeting or a sales set, you're up on the board and it shows your score, and you just have 5.
literally just everyday life, but the only difference is everybody's naked.
Yeah.
This is. I thought
Maybe it's better that
I was
way.
talking about a separate sport. You're
Sounds
still
like
on
an
that
HR
body.
violation.
Yeah, that's a big time HR
I
violation.
think all that
Craig.
is a huge
I'm talking
HR
about a new
violation.
sport that ESPN can probably
Like
acquire.
cold calling.
Yeah.
Professional cold calling.
They have.
Competitive cold calling.
We'll be on the Ocho. We'll be right there with
Right.
darts,
Cornhole,
dodgeball,
squirrel.
cornhole. The cornhole ESPN bits are pretty insane.
Skirl waveboarding.
Handball.
Seat anchor.
You know that shit where you're on the beach and you're slapping the ball on the little trampoline.
Or
They actually cover
Or what do
that.
they do when they slap the belly? They slap the fat Chinese guy's belly. Have you guys seen
Sumo
dodgeball?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Sumo wrestling.
And then what's
Well,
the
that's
other one in
Japanese, yes,
dodgeball
that's
from the
insensitive.
Ocho when they light the cars on fire and they're just driving around in circles?
I've never seen that.
You never seen dodgeball?
Oh, I thought you meant that was an actual
When
thing.
they go
on the
through
Ocho.
ESPN the Ocho in dodgeball.
I'd have to. It's been years. But
Oh, God.
it's a
so
legendary
scary
show.
when you just come up with
the Ocho.
a movie reference and you just strike out completely.
Oh shit, the camera just turned off. But it's fine because we literally have a couple seconds left till we hit the 30-minute mark. So thanks guys for tuning in. I know this was a pretty sports heavy podcast. So
Yeah, in the worst sports time of the year, we went all in on sports.
this is actually.
It's
all
off-
right, I
it's
get your
off-season.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
I get your
Yeah,
sarcasm.
it's off season.
Oh,
Free
I thought you were
agency
being sarcastic
season.
because this
Yeah.
has actually been a lot. There's been a lot going
Yeah,
on.
I mean, the Little League World Series will start up here soon, so there's that.
Spelling bee happened pretty recently as well, I'm pretty sure.
But with that being said, if there are like topics that you would like to see me, Craig, and Kevin talk about, this is going to be the crew, and then we'll interchange with Bato when Kevin can't make it or when Craig can't make it.
It's your podcast. We're just special guests.
Yeah, sometimes the
And
podcasts are with two.
if you know how to use 3 mics on GarageBand, feel free to just DM Brad directly because that is something that we are struggling with.
Yeah, because we all had
immensely.
mics and we were super geeked. We were like, oh my
Oh.
God, this is going to be so legit. We're all both going to be on mics, but now me and Craig are sharing one.
Fucking Apple.
Kevin's is working now.
Fucking Apple.
Snowball, the snowball.
Yeah, the
blue
snowball.
snowball.
Blue Snowball. So, I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. But thanks again, everyone, for listening. Stay frothy, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out, bitches.
Peace up.